Hello, and welcome to the Shoot, Reload, Repeat podcast. I am your host, Calvin, aka Practical as Buck, and today I have my regular co host, Charles, aka Dad. So, how's it going, man? It's been a hot minute since we've had our last episode.
Yes, it has. It's been very hot here too.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of hot, y'all haven't, we put out an episode 2 weeks ago about shooting hot matches. If you haven't listened to that, go check that out. Has a lot of good tips. It has been very hot down here in Texas. It's been over 100 degrees and it's been terrible. So,
Did we get any feedback on that one?
I was looking at some of our data just from like Apple, because I think that's where a lot of people listen to us from, and it seems like we're getting decent analytics. Like for that episode, we have roughly 27 devices, 11 hours total listen time, so that's not bad.
Hey, can't beat that deal.
No, it's not. We're doing pretty good, I think. So why don't you, since we haven't been on for a while, why don't you kind of talk about what you've done in shooting and things like that this last couple weeks?
Well, I went on vacation. I haven't shot in 3 weeks, I think. Got one coming up this weekend that you're going to come and join me for a USPSA match here in Lubbock. I haven't done much gun wise other than make bullets.
Just make bullets, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you got those. You're loading up. Why don't you kind of talk about your load data you're running for your bullets and all that since you've changed it?
Well, I still had about, I don't know, 300 rounds of 100 grain bullets. I dropped those down to 3.7 grains. See how those do at this match this weekend since I've been loading them a little hot. And then what grain were the black bullets? 147?
147, yeah.
Yeah. I've been playing with those a little bit. Had a little malfunction today. I took them all apart, went back, reloaded them, and I'm going to try a few of them during the match this weekend, just see how they fire. But I think I'm back on track with those. I when I loaded them, I crimped them too much, and
Yeah.
I had three that I could not even get out.
Oh, really?
So
You
yeah,
couldn't even pull them?
no. So I'm glad I didn't run them. I threw
Yeah,
those away.
that probably would have been a bad deal. And you got your
Yeah.
overall length all figured out too?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much running what you were running, so we'll see what that does. I'll let you look at them when you get here.
Yeah, that should be fine. And they all case gauge? They all fit in the case gauge?
Oh, all of even the ones that I really compressed fit well.
That's good.
But like I said, I broke a two before trying to pull them, and
Oh
they wouldn't
god.
come out. Three of them out of 15.
Wow. Well, it's a good thing
So
you fixed that crimp because that would have probably blown your gun up.
yeah, that's what I was kind of worried about because I kind of had my doubts about them. That's why I kept texting you today, and I feel better about it now.
Yeah, with those. So we're both shooting the Black Bullets International, and they like the diameter of them. They're just a little bit wider. Like I think a standard bullet 9 millimeter is like 3.55. These are 3.56. They do cause a little bit of a bulge in your brass, but um, that all mine they all pretty much case gauge. I'll get a couple of ones that are fat and they don't case gauge, and I just toss those in my practice bucket. So I think you'll like the heavier bullet, especially since with that CFU pistol with that load that you're running, it might be a nice soft shooter. So you might have to go through and explore. We might have to get you a different recoil spring. It might make it just even better for you.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about that too this weekend.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Is there anything? So that's all you just loaded bullets, and why don't you talk about that gun that you saw when you were up in New Mexico for your the remember that?
Okay, my lovely wife, aka Buttercup, we went to Cloudcroft, New Mexico, and we were running around all the little shops and stuff there, and I found a gun shop, and I sent you the picture of that gun, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, I went bebopping by there and kind of stopped and stared at that thing a minute, and it was I believe it was a 460 Magnum, Smith and Wesson. Awesome gun, but it's in an orange box, and it's basically the bush pilots use it when they go to Alaska in case they get down or something. But it's a multi-purpose gun. One, it'll kill a bear, which is its main object, is to kill a bear if needed. The other one is you can signal with it, do everything else, but it was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a pretty sweet gun. The price wasn't cool though.
$3,200.
Yeah, it's a little expensive, but.
And I was talking to the guy that ran it. He asked him about ammo, and he said it wasn't terrible. It was $47 for 20 rounds.
Oh, I mean, I guess $47 is worth not getting your face bitten off by a bear. So.
And
got to spend that.
That sucker was heavy, man. I mean, of course, it'd have to be with that caliber, but yeah, I wouldn't worry about a bear with that. I was, when we were hiking, I was carrying my 45 ACP 1911 just in case.
Just in case, yeah. It's probably the biggest handgun you own.
Yeah, until I went shopping, but yeah, right now that's the biggest one I own. I was teasing Buttercup. The reason I brought it, so if a bear came, I could shoot her in the knee. And then I could...
Yeah, you don't have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun your partner.
Yeah, and that's the only way I could outrun Buttercup.
You could have just got a 22. You probably got away with a 22. And to carry all that weight with the 45. Also,
well, I'm working on that, how to carry that next time we go, but that'll work better.
Yeah. So I've done some stuff. I shot a match last weekend. I shot a match every weekend in July because I only got to shoot like one USPSA in June, and I had things that came up. I couldn't shoot those other matches, so I shot a match every single weekend in July, and I really liked that. I could get used to doing that. Unfortunately, with work starting up soon, I won't be able to do that as often. I did a lot of dry fire. I only did one live fire session. I've been trying to. I guess I'm going to start scheduling that out now that I'm going to start getting really busy. Probably just try to shoot one match a month and then try to do at least one practice session on a Saturday or something like that. Shoot a couple hundred rounds. I built some target stands today. I loaded up all 3,000 of my bullets. I don't have any bullets left. I have a lot of powder and primers left, but I don't have any more bullets. So I have a pretty good ammo bank sitting and waiting for me, ready for me to go. Other than that, I really haven't done a whole lot. I'm saving up so I can buy. I'm gonna shoot a match in November called Area 59 Championship. It's a level 2 match. It's in Houston. It's in November, and it'll be my first level 2 match. So I've been kind of saving money so I can pay for that because the match fee is like $150, and then we're gonna have to get a hotel because I'm gonna shoot all day Saturday. So I'm getting ready for that, and but that's pretty much it. I haven't done a whole lot. Just dry fire every day. Things like that. Just the normal stuff I usually do. Nothing out of the ordinary.
I made major modifications to the range wagon.
Yeah, you haven't posted pictures or anything like that.
No, it's a surprise, man.
So I have to wait till Saturday when I come down there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. It could be almost a whole episode. No, I'm kidding.
Do I need to bring a chair?
Yes.
Okay, I'll bring a chair. All right. So, our topic for today, before we talk about our topic, let me do some housekeeping stuff. Make sure if you are on Facebook, go on Facebook and like our Facebook page. We'll probably do a listener question episode maybe next week. What do you think? That probably sounds good. Do a listener question. Maybe I'll put it out this week and try to get some questions. We'll do another listener question. I really like that, doing that type of episode. Go on there, search Shoot, Reload, Repeat podcast on Facebook, like our page. All my Instagram post to that. So that way, if you follow my Instagram, you can follow either. You kind of know what's going on with the podcast, know what's going on with my shooting. Maybe if you want, I can show you how to link the Facebook page to your Instagram. And if you ever want to post anything to the Facebook page, you can post stuff on there too, there, Dad. That way you can partake in that.
Dilly.
Well, we can set that up. Just do that. I try to post on there so that way you guys can stay updated on the podcast. If you can follow me on Instagram, and we'll do all that. So today we're going to talk about a subject. Our subject is how to deal with a bad match. Like when you have a bad match, like how you deal with it in the moment and what you can do to take away from that, positive and negative, and how to get better. So
I tell you the dumbest thing that you do that you need to quit?
What?
Is that, that What If app?
Oh, my practice score competitor? No, that's great. That's my favorite thing to do. Is to go in
I know, but I think that's what helps you beat yourself up so much on it too.
So I guess we can kind of talk about our own personal experience. So that last match I saw a couple weeks ago, the Alpha Mike match, I just had a couple bonehead mistakes. Just shot some penalties on a short course, had a couple mics, and it just kind of killed my time. The classifier was terrible. I don't even want to talk about that. I had a bunch of mics and a no shoot, so a lot of strong hand. Shooting a Bill Joel strong hand one was pretty difficult. So it's kind of down on the dumps because I shot that. No, that wasn't. No, I shot River City last weekend because when I shot the Alpha Mike match 2 weeks ago, I was happy with the result. I did decent for my in carry objects, but that River City match just kind of tore me up. Those small little mistakes, like mental mistakes, just penalties that hurt me a lot. So, and the last match you shot, was it the classifier or was it the regular match? It was a
regular match, but I really blew the stage right before the classifier. That was the one I missed. Well, I didn't miss them. I couldn't find the trigger for the two poppers. They were really difficult. And that's what tore me up because I was helping set up the poppers so I wouldn't forget them.
Right.
And then when the buzzer went off, man, I missed them. And I think that got in my head a little bit. So we went to the classifier, which you and I both know I needed to smoke the classifier. And I had 2 no shoots in the classifier.
So, yeah, I pretty much zeroed it. Yeah.
So, I don't know. It was just one of those deals that got in my head. That was also the match I think I told you about, that the one that I choked on before the classifiers, when I told you that for some reason I changed my grip.
Yeah. So, like, the point of this episode, we're not on here just to moan and whine about, oh, poor me, whatever. But this kind of, I guess, talk about like what we do mentally and how we kind of overcome that. Because if you shoot a big match, you shoot a local match, whatever, and you have a mistake, you have to understand, like, you have to be able to overcome that mistake and be able to
learn from it.
Yeah. So let's just set up a scenario, right? Let's say we shoot a short course. It's very short, like six targets, and you have 2 mics. So on normal, how do you usually react to something like that?
For me?
Yes.
I usually beat myself up pretty good at when we're scoring it, and then while I'm reloading my mags, I'm usually thinking about it, and then I try to get it. I don't know. It's easier said than done. Get it out of my head before I go to the next one, and but even if I do well on the next one or something, I probably let it eat on me. I don't know, probably 24 hours.
Yeah.
And, but I think back on it, man. I think, what did I do wrong? It's like that one I told you, like, for some stupid reason, I changed my grip. I never changed my grip, but I did that one time. But,
yeah,
it's just that I think about the little stuff. What could I have done different?
Do you ever go back and watch your video?
Well, I will when I remember to turn it on.
Yeah, that's true.
I wore that thing GoPro three stages and forgot to turn it on all three of them.
Yeah, when I have something like that, I'll go and I'll watch like while I reload mags. I'll find that video on my phone and I'll watch it and I'll kind of slow parts of it down where I had that miss, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I pulled out that target, or oh, like I came in it too hot, or I was just splitting the trigger too fast, and then that kind of helps. Usually, what happens with me, like on the very last stage I shot in that last match, I had two mics and I completely forgot a target, and then on one of them, I shot a steel target, but I hit low below the calibration zone, and it made the ding, but it didn't fall over. So it was like one of those things where, I guess if it's something like really easy that I could have made up, I'm a little bit harder on myself. If I'm shooting like a 50-yard shot and I have a mic on it, I might not be as hard on myself because that's a really difficult shot. But if it's something just bonehead, I kind of get upset with myself. But I've done a much better job of controlling that. Like you can attest, like when I used to play golf and I would be upset, I would just have like a meltdown, basically like mental meltdown, and would not be able to finish or be able to like overcome that. And the shooting has kind of helped. Like I'll be, mad at myself while I load mags, and then I might wait a shooter or two after I load mags while I'm pasting, and then after that, I've done a very good job about just being over it. Okay, new stage. You gotta start focusing on the next phase. A lot of times, what I'll do is, after I just did terrible on that classifier, I just completely forgot about it and started thinking about the next stage we were going to go shoot, and I started visualizing and trying to figure out like my stage plan and things like that.
One thing that kind of helped me on my last match, I told you I really smurfed up my classifier. Everybody in my squad did also.
Yeah.
There was almost more holes in the no shoots than there were in the actual targets. So in a little bit of a way, that made me feel a little better. It's like, it's not making excuses, but I guess I am. Maybe it's just the difficulty of the classifier, but I felt good, especially when I think we had 12 people in the squad, and I'd say at least 9 had no shoots.
Oh wow.
So that made me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
But the other thing that really pepped me up is the stage after the classifier was that one I told you that we had to run through a tunnel, stop, shoot through the window, and then run out the end shooting the targets.
Yeah.
And I absolutely smoked that one, which is pretty good for me for all the extra movement and everything you had to do, but and that kind of pepped me up a little bit. But, I kind of look at it, I kind of smurfed up, think about what we're doing, all that stuff. But you know what? The sun's still going to come up tomorrow,
Yeah, I think
there'll be another day.
Yeah, and you've shooting like a really difficult match and you see people making the same mistakes, it kind of makes you feel a little bit better about yourself. Now, I would not suggest like, okay, if let's say you have a no shooter or a mic, so I would not suggest trying to speed up. Like, let's say first stage, terrible stage, you have a bunch of deltas and a mic. Well, that stage is pretty much over with. Like, you're not going to get that stage back. And I know a lot of people will try to speed up or during that stage, and they see, oh crap, I made a mental mistake, I need to speed up, and that's only just going to hurt you. I used to do that when I first started. Like, oh crap, I took 25 shots at that steel target. I need to get my butt in gear and try to finish this in the next 5 seconds or else. But I think it's just being able to have that mental toughness and think, you know what, I jacked this up and I'm just going to shoot the best I can for the rest of the match. That's what I tried to do at the end there and at the last match, and I just kept having mistakes.
One thing I've started doing too is if I'm not 100% sure that I got 2 alphas on one, I'll throw another shot at it.
Yeah, if when I shot that match, we had to shoot a couple targets like at 15 yards, and I kind of split the trigger hard on this one target, and before I left the position, I just threw one more at it just because I had time, and I was glad I did because I would have had an Alpha Delta instead I had an Alpha Charlie. That's one thing too about like when you do your stage planning and your visualization is you can kind of plan that stuff into that. I think a big part of my mistakes on that match was I just wasn't I really worked on like trying to like, while people are shooting, be able to visualize my stage, be able to know where all the targets are at. And I don't know if it was because it was hot or because we had gotten very backed up. And I'm not making excuses, but we had gotten backed up on 3 of the stages, like waiting like 15, 20 minutes at each stage. And I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I just like, I guess my visualization just wasn't there. And I had worked a lot on like, movement during my dry fire. So I don't know if I was just trying to go fast. Sometimes I tend to shoot faster than I can see. So I think, that's just something that I know I need to work on. I supposed to know that I have the dot. So it just makes me want to go faster, and I just need to slow down a little bit, and get my points.
Well, part of my problem is my mental. The last stage we shot, we had to wait 45 minutes for that squad to finish.
Yeah.
But I made some dumb mistakes in it, or not critical mistakes, but stuff that I've taught myself not to do. They had a wall that you had to bend over or squat down to shoot through it, the window.
Yeah.
At a Texas Star, and man, I started popping the Texas Star pretty good, and then I started missing it, and it dawned on me why I was missing it. I was resting my arms on the window, on the bottom of the window, which you never touch cover. I really work with myself that, especially if you're on a barrel or something. Never lean on it, never do any of that, and that was just one of those. I guess it was. I think when you wait a long time, and like you said, we're not making excuses, but I think if you have to wait a good while, you kind of get out of your game for a minute.
Yeah.
It's kind of like shooting the first stage. I for one usually don't do very well on the first stage.
And you know what I've done to kind of combat that is
what
if I know that I'm like close to first or like in the middle, I will go to the like after I tape, and I know it's kind of hard for you at your club because y'all don't have like at River City. They're blessed; they have a safe table at every single bay, and I will go and I will draw and I will like do some practice draws. Maybe like when you first get to the range, like when you go gun up, just sit there and work on draws, work on just different things. That way. You're kind of warmed up. I know like some major matches, like at Nationals, they have like a warm-up bay, and you can just go and shoot all the ammo that you want and get warmed up. So
that would be awesome because that's what I told you, man. You need something like kind of comparing it to like a batting cage. Go in there and
get warmed up, and that's what I've been trying.
Run a couple of mags or something to see how you feel.
And that's what I try to do. I try to just go to that safe table and just get some draws. 2, I think a big part of it is your stage plan. So once you have that stage plan set, and whenever you're the on deck or the in the hole shooter, is trying to run through that stage plan as many times as you can in your head, and then I try to like walk through it at least twice when I'm the shooter and they're pasting, and I try to do it full speed because that kind of gives me an idea of like what my match mode needs to look like, and I didn't do that too much at this last match, and I think that's what hurt me is because like my visualization and just like walking through my stages, and just Now, one thing I try to do is when I have a bad match like that is I'm disappointed. Me and my buddy Adam stopped at the match. We stopped at a gas station on the way home, and he was like, "Hey man, do you want anything to drink?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just gonna drink this hot water that's in the car as my punishment." I punished myself a little bit. I also try to find the positive things, like looking at the overall. So in that last match, there was like 70 shooters, and I think I was like in the top, like the top 50 or something like that. I don't remember. It wasn't terrible. Like I wasn't, super low down there, but I also wasn't, at the top. So like for having a bad match, I didn't do as bad as I thought. And then I also go and I look at my times. Like on that last match, I compared my times to the other shooters in my division, Carry Optics, and I really didn't do that bad time wise. A few seconds. It was just my hits that killed me. Yeah, I was out of 79 shooters, I was 45th overall, so that's not terrible. And just trying to find the positive things. And I know sometimes you feel like you're stretching, well, I was, but I think sometimes you have to do that. Like you have to help yourself out. So.
Well, there was 14 in my division, and I came in 7th.
Yeah.
So that made me feel good. The other thing is too, there's just a bunch of little things I got to thinking about, and I was wearing tennis shoes, and I had difficulty with some of the stuff on that, so I went and bought me some Solomons.
Oh yeah, your Solomons.
Yeah, so I'm jacked up, ready to try them this week. I mean, yeah, it's gonna make me a master pretty quick with those on.
Oh, and like to kind of like add on to piggyback, you said you got 7th out of 14, right? So
Right.
if you go and you look at your scoring, if you're beating major power factor guys, at least you're doing something right. Like if you're beating guys that are shooting bullets that are like better than you, their scoring should be better because they're shooting major power factor and you're shooting minor, then that's something definitely to think about, man, because that's what I try to do. Like, okay, I beat like these two or B or because right now I'm C class. Okay, well I beat an A class dude and a B class dude, and I'm almost there with this other A class dude that almost won. So I think just trying to find the positives.
Right.
I'll go and I'll watch my videos, and I'll look at like, okay, well my movement is good, and this is good, and that's kind of how I try to, I guess, try to figure out what I need to work on. Is okay, well my movement's good, this is good, but I need to work on accuracy. So like this week in dry fire, all I worked was accuracy. I worked on trigger control. I worked on like tight shots, things like that. So that's just stuff that I think that's just part of it, man. Is just trying to find the positive because you're always just, and I think Mike Stoker said it the best. You gotta find positives because if you're always finding negatives, you're just gonna beat yourself down and it's not gonna be fun anymore.
I got you. Yeah, and like I said, I was driving home and pissed off. I did stop and get a drink of cold water, but I didn't punish myself that bad. but you're your own worst enemy. Sit there and beat yourself up pretty well, and then. But yeah, I got to thinking about it. Then when the match results came out, I got to looking and I got mad, and then I got to looking at it again. I was like, well, that's not too bad. I come in 50-50 in several stages in my division. It's just my deal is just a lot of the little mechanics. I was practicing today, and I guess it's just old school the way I've always shot. I used to shoot with my arms fully extended.
Yeah, now you have kind of a bend in your elbows.
Yeah, so I was practicing today where it's closer and I got a better sight picture.
Yeah. Yeah, you are old and your eyes aren't good, so it probably helps.
Wow.
Maybe you should just shoot a dot.
Huh?
You should just shoot a dot and make your life a lot easier. You don't have to aim, you just gotta point the dot and pull the trigger.
Yeah, but what's the dot gonna do for you in real life?
I mean, you can put a dot on your shield. That's cool.
No.
They're all the rage now, man.
No.
But I think like just trying to find your weaknesses and continually working on those weaknesses is just something that you just have to do. And I think that's why I really like this sport is because I can work, you work really hard and you start to see dividends but there's always something that you need to work on. And like if you work transitions and accuracy, well then, your reloads might suffer. So then you got to work on that. And there's always something for you to get better at. And that's what I like about it.
No, it's like me. I back my powder loads off. So I'm probably not going to have as much recoil.
Yeah, you might shoot a lot more accurate.
Yeah, and we need to do your disclaimer about our reloads. This is strictly us doing our reloads. We do our own thing, so we're not liable for anything dumb you might do.
Yeah, don't. I wouldn't take what we say as advice. We barely know what we're doing. But yeah, I think that's just the best way to handle it. And guys, remember, USPSA is a game. There's only like 30,000 people or something like that that shoot USPSA in the United States. So don't beat yourself up about it. Like, I know a lot of us, we put a lot of time and money and effort into it. And we all want to be the best. So remember that, like, sometimes there's things bigger in life than USPSA. Like this weekend, like I've been dry firing like every single day for like the last probably 3 weeks, and so I like just took this weekend off and said, you know what, I'm just gonna put the gun away, put the belt away. I'm just gonna relax. Tomorrow when I get up, I'll probably do some dry fire, get back into it. So I think that's just something that you need to keep in mind. Like I still like. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I don't want to be the best. I don't want to be. I don't want to be a winner. But sometimes you got to kind of put things into perspective, you know.
Exactly.
And I think that kind of helps.
Well, in 2 years, I expect to be going up against Rakaza.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see about that. Rakaza's been shooting USPSA since he was like freaking. I think like he was like a teenager or a kid. He's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, no, he's good. I like to watch him shoot, and he seems to be a really down to earth good guy. But
Yeah. Maybe we can get him on the podcast.
That would be cool. But I do. I enjoy it, and like I said, a bad day, a bad match, is still better than a good day at work.
Yeah, I'd rather go and shoot 0 classifiers every weekend and than be at work sometimes. You're right about that. It's fun. I think too that really helps if you like shoot a bad stage. Like, don't be that dude who's like pissed off and wants to like cuss in. We shot that IDPA match and that dude was over there.
Oh man!
And I get that you're mad, but I think you need to have some professionalism about yourself. And like, if you're gonna do that,
also be aware that there were women present.
Yeah, that's fine. You can be upset, you can cuss, but do that like away. Like when everyone's pacing targets, when you're by your magazines, you can go and cuss and do whatever you got to do there. Because then I think it just makes you look like a bad sport, things like that.
Well, and then remember what he really went in on his biggest tirade off. He was like 2/10 of a second off his normal time.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I get it. Everybody's got their own agenda and everything, but if you want to be a jerk, go sit in your car for a minute
and go out there and have fun, man. Because like I've shot with some guys that like just in a squad that they're not friends or anything, who like they shoot terrible. They don't perform to their, I guess, like their idea about themselves, and then it's just no fun shooting with them because they're just like Debbie Downers. I've been trying to have a little bit more fun now. Like I guess I used to take myself too seriously when I first started shooting, and so now I'm just trying to like have fun. On Saturday we'll probably have a good time when we shoot, so just have a good time, relax. When it's your time to shoot, focus up, get ready, do your best, and after that just relax, because if you don't relax and have fun, then you're not going to shoot well anyway.
Right, and that's my biggest deal. I like to have fun. There's quite a few in our squad that we joke around with and stuff,
Yeah, the Lubbock, the people that shoot Lubbock are generally all very nice people. I like shooting that match with them. So, and if you're in the Lubbock area, you're listening to this, sign up for the match. I'm gonna post this on the Tuesday, so the 6th. So the match should we'll probably already be signed up. Well, we're usually on squad 4, right? Isn't it usually what we sign up?
3 or 4, yeah.
3 or 4. So feel free to jump in there and squad with us. Shoot us a message if you want to squad with us. And I would like to listen to meters. I think Bangin' Brass is going to be at that match. I'm going to have to shoot him a message here in a minute on Instagram and see if he's going to be there. He told me he usually shoots the Lubbock matches, so maybe we can squad with him, shoot with him. So I don't really have anything else. I feel like I got everything off my chest. Oh, I do want to say something about my practice score competitor. I know you're giving me a hard time about that, but it kind of like shows me that, like, okay, if I didn't make these, like, because I don't even, when I go and change my scores on practice score competitor, if you don't know what it is, it's an app. You pay $10. You download it. You can search any match. in the United States once they upload the results, and you can go through and you can edit your scores. You can compare people. A lot of times I'll go through and I'll compare mine, like the top person in Carry Optics, and I'll look at our scoring and our times and things like that. And what I like to do is I like to go in, if I have misses and penalties, I'll go in and I'll fix them, but I'll change them to just like a delta, maybe a Charlie, if I have an alpha on the stage. And like that last match, I could have been 7th in Carry Optics instead of 12th. And it kind of just shows me, okay, well, my time can go a little bit faster, but I just need to work on accuracy. Or if my time's really slow, but my hits are good, I need to work on my speed. And I think it's a good way to, kind of show me what I need to work on. I also like comparing myself to other shooters just to see how we did stage by stage. It can be a little depressing at the beginning, but then I kind of treat it, like we said, with that positivity. So it's a great app. If you download it, I think it's worth the $10 you pay for it. If you go and shoot big matches that have Wi-Fi, you can check other people's scores and things like that at the match as they refresh. Like as soon as they submit it, if they have Wi-Fi on the range, you can do that. So, well, do you have anything else you want to add before we end this thing?
Yes, I do. I just want to tell everybody that our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody in Ohio and El Paso.
Yeah,
it's for the shootings they had. It was terrible, but we're feeling for you.
Yeah, it's crazy that this happened, especially in Texas. What happened in Texas, and it's just terrible, man. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Well, guys, I think that's all we have. I think our group therapy session is much. I think we feel good. Thank you guys for listening to us. Make sure you guys, if you guys are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, make sure that you subscribe. If you're listening to us on any other platform, make sure that you subscribe. Download it, delete it, download it, re-download it, delete it, listen to it, download it, delete it. That way we get our downloads up. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. Leave us a 5-star rating. Leave us a review. I like to read those if we ever get any. We don't have any right now. Our stars are good though. Well, yeah, they can leave a good review. Our stars are pretty good. We're almost at 5 total. We're like at 4.7, something like that. I have some big stuff working. I have a couple guests. I'm not going to say who they are, but I have some. I'm just going to say up and coming shooter who everyone kind of knows if you follow USPSA. He's going to be on. There's another guy that followed me on Instagram. He lives in the Austin area. He's getting into shooting. I'm going to have him on as well. And I might try to see if I can't get JJ Rakaza on here. Maybe he'll be on our podcast. I'll send him a message and we'll see what he says. That's all I got. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at practical practical as Buck. Make sure you like our Facebook page. Just search Shoot Reload Repeat Podcast on Facebook. Hit the like button. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
I'm on Instagram, C31 Leatherwood.
Yeah, follow him. He posts pretty cool stuff. Maybe we'll do like a live thing at the range and show everybody the range wagon. So maybe we can have a big reveal thing at the range on Saturday. So that is all we got for this week, guys. Thank you very much for listening. We really do appreciate it. We're just a couple dudes that like to shoot and enjoy making the podcast. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for taking your time to listen to us ramble and rant and rave. I hope you guys enjoy it, and shoot fast and don't suck.